All right, hello. We are here. Welcome everyone to session 4 of our Apocalypse World game here on Actual Play. I'm Ash. I've been our MC, our GM for this game. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm really excited to see what happens in this session because the last one got nice and hairy. Which is pretty exciting. Let's go around. Let's go around the circuit and do some introductions. Let's start off with Sydney.
Hello, my name is Sydney. My pronouns they them. I am an RPG writer and descriptivist. It is a pleasure to be here. I am playing Lockheed, who also uses they them, who is our savvy head plus minus. I meant to reach out to you in the space between games and didn't about like what cool moves should I take from another playbook. So I guess I'm just gonna drop something like that in.
We can
in
talk about
this
that
game.
in a second.
Yeah. I am also very excited to be here. Just saying that this has done the classic Apocalypse World asymptote where I'm like, oh, episode 2, things feel very slow. Episode 4, everything is like a runaway train. It's great.
Yep. I mean, and it's really fun to kind of look at how the moves create that, the rules create that as well, which is like it is specifically a system that is designed to create that outcome. Josh, how you doing? New location.
Yeah, I'm in my bedroom closet now. It's fairly echoey. I've got some work to do on that, but yeah, glad to be here. I play Saf, the Maestro D. He uses he, they pronouns. I was thinking about it over the course, and I was like, yeah, that feels correct. I think Saf would.
That feels like the, in line with the character you've been portraying. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and excited to be back for episode 4.
Yeah. And Andrew.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Andrew. I'm doing okay. I use they, them pronouns. I'm playing Wolf, the gunlugger, and she is probably going to need to kill a lot of people now. I just have a feeling. Possibly.
I feel like we're about to have. Yeah, we've. Given sorry, I need a cable. Given that, does anyone want to recap for us what happened last time? I think, like, especially like, because yeah, there was. I think we all remember where we ended up. How did we get there? It's a great question.
I feel like Sydney needs to do it because it's all their fault.
Okay, I'm happy to take it to a certain point. I will take responsibility out of obligation. So we kicked off the session in this real like low simmer where food was becoming a bit more scarce and there was a little bit of tension around the place, and Wolf had just been kind of knee deep in the conflict between two of the local card holders, or two of the local warlords, I should say. And then we stepped into the world of an NPC who was a little bit fey, a little bit strange, a little bit different. What was that NPC's name? Sorry, that was
Gams.
Gams, thank you. I'm so bad with Apocalypse World character names because so many of them share between universes, and I have now had like 1,000 Rolf balls in my head. 1,000 Rolf balls in my head. It's my favorite Nine Inch Nails album. So yeah, Gams rocked up, offered some opportunities that Lockheed could take to resolve everything to make the world a better place, to fix the things that need to be fixed, and to possibly bring everybody back from the brink of this apocalypse, or everybody that Lockheed cares about. And that went perfectly well. Because that was the scene that the other two walked in on. So I guess I'll pass over, especially to you, Josh, who were talking about at the end of the session. Talk about what happened next.
I'm gonna be totally truthful. My memory is like super fuzzy. I remember us getting into a bit of a tense moment. Gams essentially, like there it was Wolf and Saf walk in on sort of a post connection moment for Lockheed and Gams, which creates some exceptional tension because Wolf is obviously not happy about this. And Saf had no idea that was the kind of situation that they would potentially be creating by having them walk over to that place in the first place. After a little bit of sort of dramatic tension, Gams eventually, like Wolf and Lockheed, have some sort of back and forth discussion. When Gams tries to make themselves a part of that discussion, Lockheed lets them know in some of the most definitive of terms that their contributions are not appreciated, and pulls out a gun and shoots her, which I think is pretty close to where we left off. Yeah. Are there
Pretty
other
much.
things? Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, everyone just kind of
to
was
describe what happened.
dumbfounded by what happened, is what I remember also.
Yep.
Like even Lockheed was kind of surprised it happened.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to ask, like Lockheed, like that escalated fairly quickly for Lockheed. Did you want to like kind of retouch on like what was happening for Lockheed in that moment?
Yeah, so the tension around this is a lot of it is based on the non-ongoing relationship of Lockheed, and the fact that it keeps like breaking apart, fracturing and rejoining, and that it's like in this really unclear period. And then this NPC has had the capacity to instill visions in that very like psychic maelstrom-y kind of way. And the problem with that is that it's just been like this really emotional whiplash for Lockheed. Being shown that there is this way forward to like reconnect with everyone and fix the things that need to be broken, and then Wolf rocks up and there's this like real quiet tension that like won't meet Lockheed's eyes, or like won't respond in ways that are like moving towards the same outcome, like that aren't productive in that way. Which, I say from Lockheed's perspective, obviously, Andrew Wolf is not obligated to be productive in the way that anyone wants her to.
Not usually her way, it seems.
And then, Lockheed gets this flash that, like, all of that was, like, a lie, and that it's actually, like, this recognition of being manipulated, and the whole thing, it just kind of becomes this, like, emotional turmoil that Lockheed doesn't have the tools to deal with. And maybe in like, probably not in a desire to emulate, but like maybe out of like reaching out to Wolf in that way solves the problem the way that Wolf would, and like just draws a pistol from a desk drawer. and shoot scams.
You also got a fairly unique insight, like using the things speak as the like intimacy move on Gams was revealed. Like we did kind of get an insight into, like, I had to pull the mask off of my of the Scooby-Doo villain of so to speak. So we kind of had to be like, no, this person is just really fucked up. They are not the pretty thing that they make themselves to be. But yeah, wonderful. Do we want to do some highlighting?
That is appropriate at this time.
It is the time for doing that thing. Let's start with Andrew then. Let's start with Wolf, who has the highest?
Saf does.
Yeah.
So Josh gets to highlight one of my stats.
Yeah, I would say I kind of want to see what happens when Wolf is at her peak. I feel like there's a space right now that could be like, on one hand, I understand there's like a lot of emotional tension and like going with hard could work, but I kind of want to see some sharp. I kind of want to see her like take a second to assess, like, whether it's like, I am going to make this thing count, I'm going to process what's happening here, or I'm just going to make I'm going to make somebody pay in the way that I know that I can, because I am that mercenary. Yeah, I think sharp.
Great.
It's session 4. And I'm really tempted to highlight your hard to just see you go off. But I also, I'm like, do I want to save that for next session, right? But I also don't know where we'll be next session. You could be dead. So
yeah, anything could
fuck
happen.
it.
Yeah.
Hard.
Great. Time to
go
get
off my
clinical. Yeah.
Sydney, who you got?
Great question. Saf, you're +2 with me. What would you like to see?
Sheesh, I'm all over the place.
It's the Maestro D, my friend.
Yeah, I suppose this is the intention. I think it would be interesting to see Lockheed lean into. I feel like after taking this shot, I kind of want to see lean into it. I feel like there is I think there's a space for some cool here. I think there's a space for okay, yep. I obviously, like, I'm not going to directly express how I feel, but I have indirectly expressed how I feel. I will perhaps continue to do that. Yeah.
Love it.
Where do I want to see this? Fuck it, let's go weird again.
Go weird.
Like that insight from the thing speak was the thing that kind of kicked shit off. So let's like lean into it. Absolutely. And then Saf, who's got the best? Who have you got the highest with?
It is Wolf at a 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'll highlight your hot.
Okay.
I'm going to highlight Saf's hard, just in case Saf wants to follow the thread.
All right. And then I also need to do an improvement.
Oh yeah, you're sitting.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
On an advance, cool.
Mm.
I think 2 people are sitting on an improvement.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Sydney? Do you have a?
So Apocalypse World improves in a bunch of different ways, right? When you get that 6th experience, you can tick off one of these options, and the first couple are just like get +1 to a stat, which are great and like really powerful and good for people who like numbers go up. Not good for me. Grab some new moves from your playbook. There's some fictional stuff like I think the driver can like get a new vehicle and whatever. And there's a couple that say get a move from another playbook. I think that's what I'm going to pursue. I think I'm going to grab something from somewhere else to try and like get a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Like dimensionality for the character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And this is the hard thing, is that like a lot of these moves, especially if you get stuck in that trap of like, okay, I have +2 weird, so I can take a move that is weird that lets me do weird stuff. I can take something from the Brainer or from the Hocus, who's like a weird cult leader. But I don't think that's going to give me that dimensionality that I want.
No, it's going to push you further into where you are.
Yeah, which is cool. You know, my weird has been highlighted. It's a clear thing that people like about the character, but it is also kind of fun to go in a different direction as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what other role do you play other than the weird?
Yeah, that's where I'm sort of thinking about. Josh, what's interesting you at the moment?
Yeah, I think that there is a. By the way, what is this sound? Does that make a sound? Do you hear that when I
like very tiny for me? I get like the very tiny sound of like plastic against.
Yeah, just a little swish as you move the mic down.
Okay. I was like, if it's a tragedy, then I want to make sure I mute.
Not at all.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of like that same concept of, instead of necessarily just like super diving into how do I make a more powerful Maestro D, how do I like add a dimension or give an extra space. And I think that's kind of neat. But I also want to do something that feels like it is that it fits narratively alongside the character, right? Like not just kind of like, but there actually is kind of a cool moment in like witnessing this just like big shift, right? Because Gams was this kind of heavyweight character for Saf, and like there was a bit of Saf also got the opportunity to kind of see through through the glitz, right? And so there is kind of this opportunity for this to have been the triggering moment for this like very significant shift in mentality, which I think is kind of cool. So I'm sort of looking at the Battle Babe moves. I think that like witnessing this sort of like hard pivot of, like Saf is pretty consistently trying to everybody get along, talk our way through it, whatever. And then it's like, yeah, but then sometimes a situation gets solved just with a bullet. And like, so I think there is something kind of interesting to that idea of what is something that could, instead of finding a flavor that complements, finding a flavor that contrasts, and then having the experience be, oh, that contrast in flavor is kind of cool. Let's
I think
see.
it's
And
also like.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, like, because like you had that moment of clarity, but that means that you were also very much part of the people who had been deceived and manipulated by GAMs, right? Like you were also one of the victims of them, and in a very like not quite as much as Lockheed, but still in a quite intimate way. And so like I can understand that like Saf might have like lived in this very hard world where murder happens not infrequently for a long time, but never had this particular kind of personal like it's to like have this thing of like, oh wait, no, like this person has also fucked with me, and then have someone else do the violence towards that person, right? Like is interesting to kind of like is a very specific situation kind of emotionally, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I think I might take kind of a compromise between numbers go up and narrative, and take ice cold from the Battle Babe playbook. It's when you go aggro on an NPC, roll plus cool instead of plus hard. And then when you go aggro on another player's character, roll plus history instead of plus hard. So it is kind of an advantage because my heart is a -1, so it does get me out of a little bit of some situations potentially, even though that is what my highlight is right now. So I don't know quite how that works out. But then it also, I think, does fit in like, yeah, there's some significant emotional numbing taking place in like, all right, this is like, I was pulled under and acting this way from all of this shit, and now that the spell's kind of broken, it's, there's just like a harder edge that shows up when that wall has kind of been broken through.
If you take that move, then I'm happy to switch your highlight to cool instead of hard.
Okay, cool.
Just so that we're not highlighting a thing that you are very unlikely to use.
Okay, cool. Then let's do that.
What's singing to you, Lockheed?
I am torn between getting a move that anchors me in the community more, like the ones where you get gangs and communities and stuff like that, and getting something that makes me more driver like makes me more of that like disconnected uh I'm gonna leave you with my problems kind of or I'm gonna leave you with your problems kind of character. It is, and also there's just a ton of good like brainer moves that are like you're weird in different ways. When you hold people in your arms, you can do weird brain stuff. Or I think though I'm going to take there's a really great one from the Skinner playbook about like whispering someone's name to the maelstrom and then they come to you, which is very cool. But I think I am attached to this idea of like finding some depth in a character And so I'm gonna go for in the Hocus, yeah. The thing is that personally, my eyes kind of like glaze over when I get to the ones that are like you get +1 weird, or like you can roll weird instead of hot or whatever. I think that in some cases, like Josh, the one you were talking about, they're fantastic, especially when like you're when it has such like a strong narrative eye. Hmm. It's tough. It's tough, my friends. They're all good. Is the problem?
There's a big difference between like you get +1 when you swing your sword too. You can fly now, right? Like those are and like +1 to swing the sword might be huge in terms of your effectiveness at doing the things, but the ability to just do a different thing is like it's horizontal versus vertical progression, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's it's also like, how does the you swing your sword tie into the narrative space, and like what is it that gives you that +1 to swing your sword? And I think that like the driver's example of you get another vehicle is a really good one that looks like it's just a vertical progression, but actually like spaces out the story in a really interesting way. That would actually be really funny. I will have to take a driver one at some point to get a vehicle which is a giant mech and rebuild that. Good. I'm going
pretty
to.
cool.
It is pretty cool. I am going to take up a one's real good. So I'm going to look at Visions of Death, which is from the Battle Babe playbook. When you go into battle, roll plus weird. On a 10+, you name one person who'll die and one person who'll live. On a 7 to 9, name one person who'll die or one person who'll live. Don't name the player character. On a miss, you foresee your own death, and accordingly take -1 throughout the battle. I think I just love the idea that like it like shooting games was like an out of body experience for Lockheed. Like it was almost as if it were a vision, another one of those like weird bay psychic visions, and now that's just a thing that happens.
Great.
I like that you both chose like we've had this very intense experience. I'm going to choose to mechanically be better at dissociating.
Mm-hmm.
Like in different ways, but yeah. Sick. All right. Do we want to are people feeling that like they would like to pick up moment after, or would we like to elide and jump forward a little?
That's a tough one.
Always is.
I think I would be okay with jumping forward a little, so long as we find a way to get the three of us in the same room pretty quick.
We can just say that like wherever we.
I was like, I don't know if we're like, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm really cool with it. I kind of love the idea that like Lockheed doesn't really talk about it, and so it's like, nope, we're not having this conversation now. Get out. Yeah, and we'll pick up somewhere else.
Great.
Cool. Wonderful. Also, there are birds. In that case, I think in that case, we got to do. People got to eat.
Yep.
People got to do that. Pay that lifestyle. Is everyone? Saf, yours is covered. Unless you want to be particularly fancy. Lockheed and Wolf.
I'll pay. It'll be the last of my gig income from a couple sessions ago. But I'll
Yep.
just
I'm sure you can find more.
pay one. Yeah.
I can pay, but I also did throw some money out into the world a
did?
couple of sessions ago, so I might ask for some work.
Cool.
Let
Alright.
me find the text, because I think it is different for each character. Like, where with the gunlugger, it's like find out who you can assassinate. The Savvy Heads says we had beginning spend 1 or 2. Tell the MC you'd like a gig. Oh no, sorry. It just says if you can't or won't, tell the MC and answer her questions, which is good fun. But yeah, my gigs are maintain a wealthy NPCs, fragile tech, conduct research, repair high-tech equipment, or others as you negotiate them. I will just tell you that I won't pay my one.
So are you working a gig, or are you just not paying your?
I am just not paying.
Huh.
Cool. Sick. Let me find it.
It's what the rules say.
Yep. I've got to find the page for. Moves.
So yeah, while you're looking at, like, feel free to interrupt me whenever you get there. I think that this for me is that Lockheed isn't looking after themselves, right? They're just like trying to busy themselves, working a lot, up at weird hours, strange noises coming from the junkyard, from the shed. They don't show up to eat at Saf's place as they normally would, and it is, I think, like, unclear as to, like, why or what is motivating that.
Right. So the questions that is anyone else going to pay 1 butter for keeping Lockheed fed?
You know, maybe I can afford to extend an olive branch. Maybe that would be good. I'll cough up. I'll spend 1.
I am out of barter.
Yep.
She's a sucker, that wolf. You just, you know? She acts like she doesn't care, and then you pull away a little bit, and she just comes right back.
Big, bad, scary. Oh, yeah, definitely. Wonderful. All right. What does that look like?
I think maybe she gets Toyota to act as a courier for this, just to keep that connection going, and just gets Toyota to run up and drop off food.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. In that case, I think that gives us a really good jumping off point. Sorry. Because I think, like, you organize this like once or twice, but then like the second time, like, get Toyota to drop some more stuff off. I think you go to find them and they're missing. And so I think, like, the place where you would normally go and like catch. I assume you catch them at work at Saf's place.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
Like
so yeah, I think we open on like you like rocking up at Saf's and like Toyota not being where they would normally be to meet you. And I think in order to get there, you've had to pass through that sort of like semi tent community that has been popping up, and you have to go past several people freaking out. So there are among that like tent community, there are several people kind of being like having some kind of panic attack, some kind of no, everything's really bad. Like there's an emergency, and other people trying to calm them down, things like that. And then at some point, someone like one of the tent people, a young woman, probably in her like mid-20s, like gets up and starts like walking around the place, like yelling that like, oh, don't you see that this is all bullshit? There's no prophet. There's no. There are no angels. This is all. We're all going to waste away into nothing. It starts like starts this very apocalyptic sort of thing, and then just gets laid flat by Jackabacca, who just happens to be passing by with like a couple of his goons. But like Jackabacca like absolutely is like having none of this crazy talk nonsense. So that's the sort of like space that is happening around.
Yeah. Huh.
Saf, a lot of like very few of these people are coming to eat in the thing now. In the establishment, they've some of them are, but a lot of them, yeah, you're like, why am I not seeing, like, I was having this problem with like not enough food, and that is still a problem, but it's kind of gotten weird. So I'm happy. I think we can just open on like when Wolf arrives.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Sorry, Ash, can you repeat that? Because
I was gonna say, am I lagging or yeah?
I think
no, it's me. I'm on Australian.
That's Australia, if ever. Yeah, that's South Australian internet for sure.
Absolutely. We're doing our best. So I think, yeah, like we can assume that Lockheed is there when we open on the fact that Toyota is not there when Wolf goes looking, and so like, and like, I assume that like Lockheed is there because they had gotten a couple of these being fed by by Toyota and on behalf of Wolf, and that's not happened. So
okay, so yeah, feels like things are a little slower than usual. I could probably like am asking. Yeah, I mean, if Toyota's not there, there's probably not too many other folks working. So, yeah.
I mean, in the Roll20 we have you have a couple of people who do work there normally. So normally you've got Floor on the bar. You have Bar, who is your muscle.
All right.
You have Litz, who's the cook, and Camo, who is a server.
Oh, okay. So we're still staffed. Okay. Yeah, I think yeah, but with the I'm kind of imagining if Toyota handles more of the interpersonal elements, it's yeah, folks are going missing, so or folks are we don't have as many people coming through, which I imagine probably kind of do make some of that connection if Gams isn't around anymore. And I know that Gams was part of sort of making some of the connection, making some of the establishment happen. So yeah, if I guess if Lockheed has come in and Wolf is here, is this? I imagine this is the first time that we've all been in the same space.
Yeah, since
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to offer that. Like, Lockie looks worn down but not tired. Like that real like long term fatigue. Not like I didn't sleep last night. Their hands are have lots of different like bandages around where they've sliced them on bits of metal and stuff like that. Which for you, stuff I think is like a pretty uncommon thing. Lockie's usually pretty good with their hands,
Yeah.
even around the dangerous stuff. But yeah, just like has obviously been right in this skin taking off the knuckles from reaching into small places, stuff like that. But their eyes are still like alight and still active as they walk in here and look around the group.
Yeah. Lockheed, it's good to see you out and about.
Yeah. Toyota was bringing me food for a couple of days, but hasn't shown. So I don't think I'll be hanging around for long.
Oh, that's interesting. I guess I kind of assumed that that's where Toyota was, because they haven't been by here today either. I guess Wolf, I know you and Toyota have had a few conversations. Do you know where they're at?
Yeah, and Wolf, I assume, is like at the bar or something, and yeah, she just kind of shrugs.
That's a little it feels pretty unlike Toyota. They may be a pain in my ass sometimes, but they're at least usually communicative about which way they're going to be a pain in my ass. Well, in the meantime, I like snap my fingers and like get some food over here, and to whatever, just sort of is not a fancy meal, but Ba, I think it is, he says, a server, drops a plate of like just whatever sort of basic,
Camo, yeah.
it's not gruel, camo, yeah, at a empty spot on the bar.
I think I'd like do I think like that you go to be like, oh, like let's get some extra food, and like Camo does, like it takes a minute. It's a little bit it like there's some delay in organizing the food.
Okay. Yeah. What's so I guess I noticed that I'm like, well, Toyota is usually, out with the people in the bar, or out with the people in the restaurant, but the kitchen staff it's standard, right? So what's going on back there, Camo?
That's me giving you the opportunity to stay here in this conversation, or if you want to push out into some more action, right? So this is merely like letting you adjust the dial on action versus intimacy.
Okay. So I'm sorry. I think maybe I'm having trouble imagining like where would the action take place? I feel like there's a place of me trying to figure out sort of like what are the cues that I should be leaning towards. And it feels like if it's like, well, the food is taking longer than usual to get here. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to put these pieces together and say, this person is missing.
Yeah, so
the food
like
is taking longer to put together. But then if I ask the question of why is the food taking longer to put together, then I'm thinking that would give me the hint as to like where to go to fix the problem.
I mean, yeah. If you go and investigate that thing, right? Like, I'm going to be. If you're like, cool, that's fine. I'm having a conversation with these people, right? That's us making space for. Okay, we want to like retouch and kind of go over some of the like emotional fallout of what happened
Sure.
last time, or if we want to leave it messy and raw and not make space for any of the like the resolution, right? Then you can be like, whether we can lean into the where the fuck is the food? I'm gonna go and find it, right?
Oh, okay.
So like those are the kind of that's the dial I'm giving you as far as which way you want to kick it.
Okay. Yeah, I think in that case, I might, I don't know. I guess I would probably, I think Saf would be would like go back to investigate what was going on with that. But I would imagine that would give Wolf and Lockheed a second to figure out whether or not any sort of discussion was going to take place, which might be just a complicated way of saying, I'm going to kick the question over to you two. How much are you going to talk about?
Yeah, I'm sure Wolf could muster some kind of passive aggressive comment if there's
Mhm.
like a downbeat where we're just kind of waiting for something. But I would open the floor to you, Sydney, if Lockheed is gonna speak up first.
This is fun. I think Lockheed says to you, all the talk about knowing where Toyota should be and licking the fingers. This I don't understand how you're comfortable here, Saf. And like if you're in the room with this Saf, like it is spoken as if you aren't. That's really got a leash on the people here.
Yeah, and I think Wolf kind of like makes a face and just says, "Yeah, not on me."
No, I remember the last person that I knew to try and put a leash on you. At least I remember trying to clean up what was left of them.
Well, you've been cleaning up some other messes lately, huh?
Yeah, no idea. You know, like trying to get me to build some radio tower, which so like imagine like invisible waves in the air. That,
And she like fully turns around to like face you. Just, I know what a fucking radio is.
Okay. I didn't want you to feel left behind.
She gives you a look. Well, it's like instead you made her feel patronized. So yeah.
Yeah, look, like at least I'm fucking trying.
And she just like deflates a bit. And it's just, what do you want? What are you doing here?
I don't know, Doug. Like, I feel like that would be the easier thing if I could tell you what I wanted from you here, but like, I don't. I say what I want. I want to be able to fix and like indicates to your throat and says like, I want to be able to fix this.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am reading Lockheed here.
Please.
I got a 7. I am going to hold one for a critical moment, I suppose.
I can be critical if you'd like. You're ugly too. It's dumb joke. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're like, I want to fix this.
Yeah.
And she just like shakes her head like, yeah, well, I've been trying to give you a chance to do it, and you keep complicating it. Are you done hiding in your workshop? Can we sort this out? And she like, there's like a tink tink as she touches her like voice box.
Yeah. Look, if I could just like throw a spanner at your throat and call it a day, I would. But and this is something that, you know, I understand if this surprises you, but making this work is a difficult thing. It requires expertise, which I have in spades, but also equipment.
Well, just point me at whoever has it, and I'll go get it.
Would this be a good time for staff to come out and be like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here, but we need to go find like looks like friends, we've got a field trip on our hands.
So, Lockheed,
Yes.
if you need parts, the union boys, the thing they do is break things down for parts.
Yeah, I will remind, and like I think I say it to Wolf here as well. I'm like, I had a lead on where to get this shit. Like, I paid Saf for this weeks ago. And like the food, like Toyota, like everything, you know, was like Saf isn't delivering.
I think then we can cut to.
Like yeah, sorry. You take.
I think that's a good point to cut, if that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like leaving that unresolved. Saf, when you go out back to find the food, the door is open. There is food on a burner, right? Like that is burning, and you have to like quickly be like, oh fuck, that's gonna start a fire. And like take that off. The back door is open, and there is some kind of huge huge row going on outside. Litz, I think.
Sorry, you cut out again.
Wait,
Ash.
sorry.
Litz
Yeah,
is the row. You can see that like Litz is just completely distracted. Oh, sorry. So yeah, like the back door is open. Litz has gotten completely distracted and left the food on the burner to go and like to see what is going on outside. And you can hear Toyota's voice, but like speaking in a way that you've never heard them speak before. They're
like
preaching.
Okay.
Uh,
So yeah, I guess I go and I mean take the food off the burner. I'm kind of confused, but yeah, I make my way to like look outside and figure out like who is out there. If it's just Litz and Toyota, or if they like have a group of people around.
It's Toyota surrounded by a bunch of the tent people.
Mm.
And it's hard to make out because they're all kind of talking back in a rabble, but Toyota is definitely trying to rile them up into some kind of into some kind of action. Speaking very passionately, speaking very, and like there's a different, like we would recognize the religious sort of tone.
Okay. Um, I yeah, I want to take a second to figure out what it is, because I feel like Toyota has not shown up for work, is rousing these folks to whatever. Like, I'm not happy about it, and I just want to figure out what the, you know what, forget it. Like um the food is getting messed up. The Toyota has not shown up. I am real sick of not having of not having control over these situations. So my I think Saf looks at this group of people gathering and is like and just kind of loudly is like, what does somebody want to tell me what the hell is going on here? And is like stepping up to like pushing through the crowd and up to Toyota. Like, I think this is a bit of a starting to go aggro. Like, we're gonna handle this first, ask questions later.
Yeah, absolutely. So for Go Aggro, let's have a look at it. On the, wait, I should do this where chat can see. Let's grab the ref sheet up.
The last time I
And
tried
basic
to talk through the
moves.
thing, somebody got shot and killed.
So, what are you gonna do if you don't get your what's your way? What do you want? And what are you gonna do if you don't get it?
I want Toyota to shut the hell up and get to work. And I want people to I don't know what Toyota is organizing, but I think my goal is to get some semblance of order. There might be new people here, but they need to understand that, like, it, at least in this part of town or whatever, I'm the one who is keeping the things organized. If shit's going on, if things need to get organized or whatever, it needs to be going through me.
That's right.
Cool. And what are you gonna do if you don't get your way?
I guess I'll have to hear more about what it is that they're trying to preach, and figure out how to.
Sure. Okay. So as you're getting closer, as you're making your way towards this, the speech from Toyota is like the bit that you cut in, like where we like cut into it is, but there is, but there is something up there in the compound. I don't think he's a prophet. I think he's a sad little man, but he has what we need. The angels are real. We can get out of here. We just need to go and get. I think she just says, we just need to go and get the radio antenna.
Okay. Yeah.
It will show. It will lead us the way to the angels.
So yeah, I think it would be better for my numbers to roll hot, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna. Yeah. So I think. Oh, because yeah, no, that's right. Then that's why I chose the skill, right? So I I hear that and am like, I don't know. I don't think I know what is going on with the angels. I am definitely logging that in my mind as a thing to ask about, but like right now, like Toyota and Litz both need to be at fucking work, right? Like, so I think that's where the focus is like getting in and just being like, if you want to have a church, it's interesting that you want to have a church session right now when your ass should be at work. And I think that's where it's like, does that work for trying to disperse said crowd? Does that?
I mean, I
I
just want to
mean,
know, like, what are you going to do if they decide not to?
I guess if they don't, then I would. I guess if they decide not to, then
Because go aggro
I
is to make is to demand something with a threat.
okay. So I guess if I don't, then uh, if you're not showing up to work, then you're not showing up to work. And there's plenty of other folks around here who I can bring in to start doing the work. So I guess you need to let me know whether you are
That's
like, are you
them or
coming to
me.
work or are you done with work?
Yeah, that's so good.
nice,
that-
love it, cool.
Okay.
That
I
sounds
love the
like
shift of
I can see
responsibility.
that for go aggro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
What was the?
Sorry, we clicked that. I was saying I love the shift of responsibility, and Ash was saying that sounds like go aggro.
Okay. So I guess I'll use my ice cold move. When you go aggro on an NPC, roll plus cool instead of plus hard. So that's some experience, and then
Yep. So you're getting XP for it.
oh no, I kind of figured that would happen. Yeah. Okay.
Oh no.
You start pulling the shit, and a couple of the and like a couple of the tent people, a couple of the refugees are like, what are you talking about, man? This isn't just food. Yeah, get the fuck back to your kitchen, cook. And they very rapidly turn kind of, yeah, like almost feverishly and like very quickly are like start turning on you as a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very audible from within the within the establishment.
Yeah. I as the crowd starts to gather and get upset, I Saf like keeps his focus on Toyota and is like, Toyota, are you going to do something about this? Or like is just like trying to double down even though the tension is
And like
building.
you try to do that double down, but
Yeah.
like Toyota's completely like, cool, like I don't have to deal with you, right?
Right.
Like
He's-
I am beatific and like I am above this. Like I don't have to listen to you. I'm busy doing this other thing. and the crowd is taking care of this like minor inconvenience for me.
All right. Well, I'm like, well, stay. I guess. I suppose I'm glad you have new duties. Then
I think you.
Oh,
I think like if you are not already out of there, then someone throws a punch, and you've got you've got a little bit of harm coming at you as people are getting violent with you. If you're not here to hear the word, then like, yeah.
So
So
yeah.
that's one harm for you.
Oh, okay. So I take harm. Okay.
And there's a move for taking harm.
Okay. I think I can do that.
So the harm move is cool. Great. Let's bring it up. Is it basic moves? No.
It's probably in like battle moves. Would be my guess.
Exchanging harm.
Peripheral moves. When you suffer harm, roll plus harm suffered.
Yep.
After armor, if you're wearing
any. So you actually rolled. You took one harm, so that actually means it's a 7. And I can. Cool. So on a 7 to 9, you lose your footing, you lose your grip on whatever you're holding. Cool. Yeah, you lose your grip on your staff.
Okay.
Not just Toyota, but like Litz is also like, oh, cool, great. And I think Bar is also out here and is like, we're doing like Bar is excited. Puppy is excited to go for a walk, right? Like Bar is like, fuck yeah, like we're gonna do something crazy is gonna happen, and Bar is excited about that. So
all right, so then fine. That's so yeah. I think I'd just go ahead and recover from the punch and make my way inside. And
yeah, Saf has like a bloody nose and a split lip.
Okay. So I grabbed the food that was still cooking because obviously that still needs to get finished. So I go ahead and like finish the food and like clean up so that my nose is not bleeding. I'm not trying to bleed into people's food, but still deliver go out and deliver the food and come back when Lockheed and Wolf are mid conversation about repair. Suppose I'm gonna be continue to be a little short staffed, but still has to get done. Yeah. What the? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like when you walk in, visibly injured, Lockheed looks to Wolf with like a quizzical glance, like, isn't this your thing? Like, it's shouldn't you be like protecting someone or be the one getting punched or something like that? Like, what's going on here? Why aren't you involved?
Yeah, and she seeing this, she just says, well, nobody hired me. And then you drop off the food and she's like, thanks. And she has like a little smirk, like, told you so, but she doesn't full on say it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I've been through, it's like, I'm not too worried about it. I've been through worse, regardless of whether or not Saf has actually been through worse.
Yeah. And she just turns to Lockheed and repeats that. She says, Hey, he's been through worse.
Yeah, I think the response is just like ice cold.
And she just shrugs like, I don't know what to tell you. It's business. And in this case, not my business.
Yeah. I don't have, let's see, I don't have barter, so I don't feel like I can like make it a job. So I guess there's some sort of near riot something going on in the back. And it sounds like we're probably supposed to try and do something to take care of this. I don't even, let's see. Gams is dead. I don't have any barter. I don't have any staff. So I'm not I don't, I mean,
There's
I
only
also
two
feel
people in
like
your bar currently, and one of them is your employee, or
Mhm.
is a potential employee.
I mean, like, I feel like and I've already rolled for the thing, so it's not like I can go back out and approach it again. So
I can though.
Yeah, I was going to say you can't.
Lockheed stands up and he's like, "Well, like, I'm gonna make this my fucking business." Nobody throws a punch at my friend, thinking that like you've gone out there and like had a one-on-one with like Bar or something, right? Like you've had a personal disagreement. So Lockheed stands up and is like, "I'm gonna fucking make this my business," and like walks out that same way. Yeah.
Real quick, as Lockheed is standing up, how could I get you to not go out there?
I mean, so there's a couple of ways, right? One is if you decide to
Wait,
take
hold.
this on. Yeah, absolutely. If you decide to do it, this is your job, Lockheed, just stepping in because you're being negligent. I know that's not the case, but that's Lockheed's position. And the other one would be if it felt like staying here would be anything more than like just I guess it would be like to try and connect with me in some way or like to have a conversation. If I'm just going to stay here and get passive aggressive barbs, I can go outside and get actually punched. But if you want to like, yeah, open up and have a conversation and give me an opportunity, then I would stay for that.
Yeah, so I think as you're standing up to clearly go like do something about this, she matches you and like grabs the front of Lockheed's shirt or whatever to just like stop them and just says like, I'll go with you. We don't want this to get messy like last time.
Yeah. There's like a moment of catch with like last time, and Lockheed's like, oh shit, yeah, actually, I do need adult supervision for this. Correct.
Yeah, and she like picks up her shotgun that was leaning against the bar. Just in case.
Man.
And then she'll walk out with Lockheed.
Lovely.
Let's take a 10-minute break.
Let's do it.
Sure. Do we do 5 or 10?
Your call, boss.
Yeah, I'm easy.
Let's do 5. It's
great.
All right. I'll catch you in 5.
We will be back in 5 minutes, and we'll find out what happens when there is a crowd of people and a wolf. So we will see that in just a minute. Catch you shortly.
Gotcha.